Argentina's President Javier Milei continuing to stun his critics. The world's first libertarian leader already producing an economy that has outperformed expectations. The country's monthly inflation rate, which was among the highest in the world, was down to under 9% in April. That's down from 25% when he first took office in December. Here with what this means for us in the U.S. and our Wallace Heritage Foundation fellow economist, E.J. Antoni. He joins us now. E.J., this is such a fascinating topic. First of all, it's kind of a miracle. The drop in the inflation rate is astounding just from December. This is also a story about money printing. So I want to get to let's start with the lessons. What are the lessons for the U.S.? And then we can talk about money printing, which we're doing a lot of.
Certainly, Rachel. Well, money printing would be one of the lessons for the United States. Look, the problem here is, and frankly, everywhere, it is government spending. When the government spends too much money and runs these massive deficits with no way to pay for them, the central bank always steps in to print the money to finance it all. And that's where we get inflation. It's true here. It's true in Argentina. It's been true in every country throughout the world that has suffered these massive bouts of inflation.
Yeah, it's just so weird. It's like easy to look at what Argentina went through. And why would we want to go down that route? And we're doing it at a much greater rate, right?
Oh, Rachel, you're spot on. That's exactly correct. But see, this is where I think the American people should actually have some hope, because as bad as inflation is here in the United States and as slow as economic growth is here, things were much worse in Argentina. And yet a president was able to turn it around in record time.
Yeah.
You know, we have presidents who talk about balancing the budget over the course of 10 years or 20 years. He did it in a matter of weeks and brought inflation down from triple digits to single digits.
Yeah. So they're printing the money because they're spending too much money. So obviously he must have cut programs. So I want to hear about that part of it, because, you know, we look at our budget, and the reason why politicians don't want to cut the spending is because every bit of spending has some constituency they don't want to tick off. So what happened with Milei? What did he cut, and what has been the reaction of the Argentine people with those cuts in the budget?
Well, the Argentine people have actually been very happy with what he has done, because inflation was creating so much pain that it was much worse than any of the goodies that the government there was able to hand out to the people. So he has slashed a lot of departments from the government. And I don't just mean he has slashed those departments' budgets. I mean, he is eliminating things whole cloth, because a lot of these agencies are doing nothing but making trouble for the people. He's getting rid of regulators. And by the way, regulation is a big part of this story.
Yes, it is.
As well, Rachel, because what he is doing by getting rid of regulation is allowing the free market to bring more goods and services to the Argentinian people, especially housing. That's another lesson we could take away here in the United States. By increasing the supply of housing, it is helping to keep down prices. That's something we desperately need here.
Oh, that is such a great point. So printing, the lessons for us are: don't print money, cut your government spending so you don't have to print money. The third one was increase housing supply so people can afford to live and bring the costs of housing down, and deregulating. It seems like under the Trump administration, they did a lot of deregulation, but not a lot of government cutting of government programs. Do you think that, assuming that somebody like Donald Trump comes in who actually wants to get the economy back in order, do you think that our political class and the President Trump, for example, would have the stomach to do the kind of cutting that Javier Milei did?
You know, I think Donald Trump may, and the reason for that is because he has been the target of so much weaponization of these different government agencies that I think he has personally firsthand seen how destructive and damaging they are, and how little good a lot of these agencies and bureaucrats actually do for the American people. And so they're probably on the chopping block if he wins.
So many incredible lessons just south of us in South America. I hope people are paying attention. This could be a very good blueprint for what to do in another administration. Thanks so much for joining us, EJ. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rachel.
You got it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.